Hello, everyone. Hello for everyone who's watching us. My name is Taiba Khalifa, and I am a law student and a civil activist. And I would like to thank you and welcome you for joining today's British Council Youth Connect live session. As you might know, or if you're not familiar with it, Youth Connect Live is a series of online live sessions for young people around the world to develop skills they need to connect to themselves, the community, and the wider world. So in this session, we invite you to write any questions you might have in the Q&A box. I would like to tell you all that this session, there will be a second follow-up session where we will answer all the questions you might have in the second Q&A session. So I encourage everyone to write any questions you have, and then we'll answer them in the second follow-up session. All right, then. This Youth Connect live session will focus on purpose-driven leadership. It will explore how staying true to yourself, to your principles, can transform not only your own paths, but also the community you serve and the community that you're a part of, as we all, as youth, are part of our own communities. Together, today, we'll dive into what it means to lead with integrity, align your actions with your values, and overcome the barriers that make authenticity challenging. For me, as a Libyan law student, debate coach, youth leader dedicated to driving legal reform and social change, this is a particular interest to me. While I am talking right now, the British Council will post some questions about we'll post some information about the session in the chat. You'll find that all available in the chat as we go on. And as I said, this will be a connected session. We have this one, purpose-driven leadership, and then we will have the follow-up session. It will be a Q&A session where me and our amazing guest for today, John, will be responding to the questions. So with that being said, we won't be responding to any questions for today. All right, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce our amazing guest for today, John Lunthing, social entrepreneur, campaigner, youth worker, and leadership coach.
Good morning, Taiba. How are you?
Hi, John. It is a pleasure to have you join us today, and I'm so excited for today's amazing life. How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. I'm beaming in from Edinburgh, Scotland today, so it's great to be with everyone all around the world this afternoon.
Well, it is amazing to be with you from Libya. So, how are you? Very excited. All right. With that being said, John, should we jump in and see how it goes from there and what everyone might think and then yeah, we should start.
Great.
All right, John. Great. John, to start, obviously, you are a person who has a lot of background when it comes to leadership. I mean, not only with the workshops, you are also an author, so that is amazing. Um, so you have a lot of experience in this particular field when you get to talk about leadership in specific. So I'd like to start by asking you, John, why is clarity of purpose important for effective leadership? So why do you have to have like a specific purpose, and why is it important for the effective leadership?
Thank you very much, Taiba. Great question. I will start today like I start every speech or session I run. Hello, my name is John. I'm told I overthink. I'm told I crave attention, control, and I don't know when to rein it back in. I make awkward, stuffy adults feel uncomfortable because I speak the direct, uncomfortable truth, but don't expect an apology from me, because what I do is to help a generation of let down youth. In life, the old saying goes that our parents want us to have better than they got, but for too many young citizens, that's a promise the world's forgot. I share that piece of poetry, Tyler, every time I speak, because the world has a way of getting on top of us, of dimming our light, of diluting our message, of making us focus on being acceptable as opposed to ambitious. So this, for me, in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming speak, is my anchor. It is my trigger back into what I'm here to do, my purpose. And it's to speak from all the bad bits of my life that energizes me to want to change the world for the better today. So the question around clarity of purpose, that is one method I use to reconnect with that. So why is purpose important for effective leadership? For me, the simple answer is because if you don't know where you're going, how can you expect others to follow you? If you don't know what you're about, how can you expect others to get alongside you? So that clarity of purpose is your North Star. It cuts through the noise, it cuts through the doubt, it cuts through the social media judgments, it cuts through the pay grade, it cuts through feeling you have to be acceptable for the short term, and enables you to be purpose driven for the long term. So in short, for me, clear purpose is confident direction, and that is therefore effective leadership. So there's too many reasons people draw from their authentic feelings, they draw from their focus, they draw you from your sense of true self. So for me, that purpose helps sharpen the pencil of what you're all about, and therefore you can start to ask the question how you take others with you. What I do find very interesting is people ask me all the time, John, I'm really keen to lead, I want to change the world, but I don't know how to find my purpose. What's my shtick? What's my thing? What's my bit? And I find that really interesting. They go, I'm ready to do it when I get my cause or my focus, or I get on the treadmill of change that I want to run towards. And I say clearly to people, you don't find a purpose. You have to learn to unlock it, uncover it. It's already in you. It's there already. That's what my company, Dare to Lead, has the tagline, unlocking the leader within. It's not about graduating to leadership. It's about having the bravery and clarity of internal vision to go get it. So if it's okay, I do it in five steps I always tell people to follow to find your purpose really tangibly. That's what my coaches, speeches, and training aims to do. The first thing I say is be brave to dig deep, not try and travel wide. We think we have to go and do lots of things, be in lots of places, be seen with lots of faces. Just stop. Actually, for me, it's a lot more about searching your childhood than it is your career. It's more about philosophy and self-realization than it is about management theory. It's usually about matters of the heart, to connect with the pure self, at risk of sounding a bit Buddhist or purist about it. So dig deep. Number two, from that, spot the fire. There's a phrase we use in Britain in English, which might be used elsewhere. Capture that fire in the belly. Now, it helps that I've got a lot of fire, and I certainly have a lot of belly as well. So I want to kind of connect with that. And what I mean there is ask yourself the question, what makes you angry? What gets you excited? What makes you feel alive? What makes you want to stand up to something if you see happening? That helps the emotional feelings connect to the logical brain and understanding and thoughts to then start to say, that's your compass. That's your purpose. So we're kind of spotting that fire. But what happens if you touch fire? You get burnt. So
You
what you
get
have to
burned,
do,
yeah.
often as children, when we're younger, we have passions. We have things we don't like. We chase injustice. But sometimes we do it well-meaning but ill-placed. We get burnt. What our parents do to us, what our community does, what our leaders do, what the businesses do, what your boss does, what your superiors do, what zeitgeist social media discourse does. We don't learn to self-govern our well-being. So what I say is keep the fire, but learn to carry the torch. Don't grab the flame. What I mean by that, and that comes someone from a poor background who's a tough life, when I do my talks, I speak about the challenges, not just the successes, is trauma that you've went through, make it refine you, not define you. And
Wow,
that
yeah,
leads to
that
my
is
third part of
amazing.
finding purpose. Yeah, it's listen to your scars in another way. We often try and hide the scars, put them away, and project this perfect image. That is the quickest highway to inauthenticity. That is the quickest way, the quickest route to trying to be a bootleg version of someone else rather than the best version of yourself. So when I say listen to your scars, your toughest moments are sometimes your best friends in authentic leadership, in purpose-driven practice. In fact, it was just today, Daiba, that a young girl had messaged me this morning on LinkedIn, and I'm going to quote a bit of this. I won't say her name, so I can say this. She'd heard me speak at an event a year or so ago. She was from a very poor community where there was problems with drugs, violence, police, bad housing, imprisonment was high, all these other kind of issues that traditionally make you not powerful. And she said to me, where I'm from, it's always been the way that you have to hide. You have to not talk about your background. I don't want to hide anymore. But success in my career is a rich man's playground. I'm tired, John.
Yeah.
Basically, I can't do it anymore for myself or others. So, my message back is all the things you think you're ashamed of, hug them tight, bring them in, and embrace them is your core personal brand. That gives you USP, that gives you authenticity. These are the things that start to make the difference. So, dig deep, spot your fire, carry the torch, listen to your scars. Two final points. Then go and test it in action. I see lots of people who are well-meaning and they have a strong sense of purpose. They think they've found their values, or to put it in a word, and I think this is one of the two most powerful words in English for leadership. Ask why. What is your why? But you then have to say yes, the second word that is powerful, and go and take action. It's lovely that you have a sense of purpose and values, but if you're not out doing something about it, if you're not trying to better yourself and others, it's always going to limit any material impact that you can then really have. So go and test it in action. Purpose can't be just a quote. It has to be a choice we make daily. So work also on the doing part of it. Ask yourself the beautiful question, what am I doing in practice that brings my purpose and values to life? Beautiful question
Yes.
to ask.
Mhm.
So you have to accept that. And the very last part of all this is you have to
Mhm.
think about the we, not just the me.
Yeah.
And the reason I've added this, and Taiba, I added this quite late, because a lot of the things I talk about in leadership, self-ownership, loving yourself, owning your
Mhm.
scars, obsessing about your background, deciding what I care about. There's a lot of
Yeah.
me in that.
Yeah.
That's
Not
great
we,
that you
the
have self
community.
correct. So the bit I add in is because all of that can create to a rich set of thinking, but it can also make us very self-entitled. We think the
Yes.
world owes us something. It can make us be
Yes.
about me, my success. I think this, I want that. We're in broadcast mode, which is ironic for a leader to say that on an international live
Mhm.
interview right now. But you've got to switch it to the we. How is what you're doing transferring to other people? How are you helping, driving, improving, enriching other people? Therefore, your purpose is not just a job title. You're
Mhm.
refusing to leave positive impact undone. You're willing
Wow.
to cross rivers where there's no bridge. You're willing to take action, to roll the dice. So you're moving from entitlement to
Yeah.
communal engagement. So that's what I talk about. Dig deep, spot your fire, listen to the scars, test it out, say yes, and think we, not just me.
Wow, John, that was an amazing answer. Honestly, you've said some amazing points that stuck with me personally. I'm sure with the participants as well. I mean, a word that I took away is if you don't know our sentence, sorry, if you don't know what your purpose is, you unlock it. You don't go look for a way for it. You unlock it within you. So that was amazing. And listen to your scars. Yes, that was really, really good advice. Wow, I really thank you for the first answer. You are truly the best at what you do. That was amazing. All right. If we can move on to the second question, John, which is in how do strong core values influence a leader's decision making process?
Yes, thank you. The short answer is core values influence a leader's decision-making process fully and totally. I've spoken to over 1 million people across 60 countries, with the British Parliament, the European Commission, the White House, whether I'm in Riyadh, Benghazi, Sydney or Tokyo. I've run businesses where I employ people. I run community school projects where we take the most disadvantaged kids and make them the leaders of society. I've did all these things, and at the heart of it, I've had to understand the values are my filter, but it's also my compass and it's also my destination. So I see it in a number of ways. When the pressure's on, and let's be honest, I don't want to be absorbed into some sort of toxic positivity chat today. As nice as that feels, the world doesn't work like that. There's budget cuts. People don't like you. Your team don't perform well. The government policy is against you. We have draconian division in mainstream political discourse. The pressure is real out there. We don't always feel good. So these talks have to reflect that. How do we respond when things are tough? And my answer is that's when the values come in to play the greatest. They stop you chasing popularity and cheap, quick wins, and they help you maintain the choice of integrity, what you stand for, what you believe in. Those strong values, for me, has led as a leader, as an employer, as a boss, as a politician, as a philanthropist, to have fewer regrets. I don't always get it right. I'm not trying to chase being correct. A lesson I've learned in my life is stop trying to be right because you're chasing the wrong thing. But try to act today with the choice that you think you'll regret the least in the future if you're not sure what to do. It helps me then make faster decisions and have a deeper respect for those people and things around me when I'm making tough choices. Quick example, I run a charity in Edinburgh, Scotland. It's called Scran Academy. Now, Scran's a word here for food.
Yes.
And we take poor kids, actually it's really wrong, we take kids that have been let down by the systems of society. Let's not blame them with ownership language. They've been perhaps kicked out of school, no engagement with parents, problems with the police. We get them to change their lives through running qualifications, mental health, food programs. We have 3 values there that rhyme. So we talk about empower, together, forever. And I was the CEO, the founder, the chairman there. I had to let go of staff. I had to decide where we expanded our service. I had to retract programs. We had to speak truth to power. I had to say no to some things to focus on others. That's hard when people's lives, careers are focused. But it's those empower together forever values that help govern how I make my decisions. So that's why values are so important in real life decision making.
Well, that was amazing as well, John. Honestly, when you answer from the inside with such an information that you say, it just sticks with me, and I'm sure it does with all the others. So, wow, honestly, thank you for such an honest answers that you give. Amazing. We can move on to the third question, John. And it's what are the potential benefits of leading with value and purpose for personal growth?
Yeah, connects to that last one. I think for me, my definition, if it doesn't have values and purpose behind it, it's not leadership. Maybe it's called management. Maybe it's called type A. Maybe it's called alpha practice. Maybe it's called dominance. It might even be efficient practice, but it doesn't mean it's leadership. For me, leadership as a word must bake in a moral maxim to have positive intention, purpose, and values. So for me, that's really important. But without those, it won't be leadership. If it doesn't have those elements built in, we explore the benefits of the role of values and purpose. It starts to lose, for me, its integrity, its connection to truth. You just commented you feel what I say comes from the heart and inside out. People buy that. There's that phrase we've all heard: people will forget what you said, they will remember how you made them feel. Leadership is a conversation of emotions to get people to trust you, to believe in you, to be engaged with you. And leaders who say they're going to empower others are wrong. Empowerment is never given. Empowerment is always taken. We create the conditions for people to realize a bigger tomorrow than their yesterday. And for me, having those benefits of values is at the heart of it. So I think that's really, really important, to go from words to actions, from the head to the heart, from logic to emotion, from rhetoric to belief. It turns the words into weight. It gives it proper authenticity. And that's the beautiful extra ingredient of modern leadership for me.
All right, thank you. Thank you, John, again for such an honest an amazing answer. As we only have 10 minutes left, I left the best or last question for the last, and I feel like you have a lot to say about this, and you might even have tips for us that we can take away. With that being said, the question is, how can leadership driven by purpose and values create positive change within a community?
How can positive values and leadership create positive
Mhm.
change within a community? Taiba, it's the only thing that ever has.
Mm.
Across evolution, across areas, it's the only thing that ever has. The moment creates the movement, to use activist and
Mhm.
campaigning language. I think when people see heart-led leadership, and I speak about thinking with the heart a lot, people will rise with you. People will believe you.
Yes.
People will get alongside you. And then you can start to make magic. Authentic leadership for me is you stop performing and you start becoming. It's not a job title, it becomes a mantra. And I think you can grow stronger, wiser, more grounded that way. And that's a beautiful way of approaching it. What happens there is managers see you more and rely on you better if you're authentic and have purpose. Voters will trust you. Staff members will listen and follow you. Activists will engage around you. I think it has a magnetism, a belief. And we are authenticity poor in modern society. In a world of double bluffing politicians, scripted, self-seeking business leaders, broken power models, authenticity is an ingredient which has such power if you can make that connect. The ability to have values and then make other people see and believe it is a beautiful tonic. But it can be hard. An example I give, I do a lot of training. I work with teachers and educators who often say, I love what I do. I love the kids I support. But you speak to the kids and they often go, why is that person in education? They seem to hate us. So what you think you're projecting and what's being transferred doesn't always have synergy. So that's the important challenge, to stay self-aware as a leader. How do we ask ourselves the right questions? And I'll wrap up with one more, a challenge and a story. The challenge is
Please, please do give us.
the same elements that create positive change are also the same tools that can create dangerous behaviors too, can create challenge. If we look in society now, we know that these same tools, techniques, simplicity of values or purpose can be used for negative or what would be seen as bad or challenge. We're seeing simple language used in populist terms to spread division. We're seeing it used to monopolize certain markets, to uphold mistruth, to engage in mockery of certain communities, to dehumanize, isolate, conceal. So we need to be really aware that that ecological social progress element is key to engaging that in positive change. Because we might say hope always wins over fear, and I do believe that. And I think that's really important to say. Also, sometimes people say, and they think they're being wise, is hope is not a strategy. Well, fair, but sometimes hope is all people have. So never underestimate the power of hope. But within hope, what you need to do is dig deep, connect with your scars, know your worth, have a clarity of your skill set. Values are great, but also know your value, what you offer. So you've said why, you've said yes to take action, you're thinking about the we, not just the me, and you're going out there to do something about it. Because sometimes it's the people no one expects anything of that achieve the things that no one else expects.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, John. An amazing answer, honestly. What I can really say about this all is each and every single answer you've given really comes from the heart. And I can see that because whatever you do say, it truly touches me and it gives me that feeling. I don't know if everybody else had it, but like, yes, I want to continue doing what I'm actually doing. I want to continue to be the change because I do believe in a motto in my life personally, and it's that be the change you want to see. Thank you so much, John, for that. And it was amazing, and I really appreciate you. For everyone else, all your questions. I mean, I saw some questions, and I went some over them, and they were amazing. And I'm sure John will be very happy to answer them. But with that being said, I want to remind you that we have a follow-up session. It's going to be on the 15th of October, same time as today, from 12 to 12:30 UK time, where me and John again will answer your questions, and we're looking forward to that. And with that being said, I would like to thank John for being with us today. John, amazing. I wish I could have you more even here. I want to do sessions with you with the Rich Council here in Libya. So amazing. And I would like to thank everyone who participated and who has been a part of today's Youth Connect Live. Thank you very much, everyone, and it was a pleasure. Bye bye.